What's up, boys? Got a bunch of Q&A we were going through, and I got asked to do a talk for a football team in West Virginia, and I am more than obliged to go out there and help out the boys. And talking to the coach via email, I was like, well, what do you want to talk about? And he's like, team building, resiliency, team above self, group above the individual, the whole thing. Just building a better team guy. Not a Navy SEAL, just a team guy, team player, someone about the group. And I wrote down this stuff a long time ago, and I'll date timestamp it so Manny can see it, but I took down a bunch of notes right when I got through Green Team, and basically a bunch of pearls of wisdom got launched out at me. I started writing them all down, basically just a bunch of bullet points, and it turned into a speech that I kind of titled, Be a Pro. And I went back and I gave it to the guys at Team 10 after I'd been in the command for a little bit. They were having a string of DUIs, and shit was getting bad. You know, guys were getting lackadaisical, and they were kind of fucking about. And I went back to try to re-motivate the group for why you're actually there. And just a bunch of stuff about just realigning the focus. A lot of guys, you know, they go through bad leadership trends and it starts to eat away at the collective, and guys start to lose motivation for why they're actually there, and they just forget. Guys on SWAT teams forget. Guys playing in the NFL, they forget why they are actually there a lot of the times. So sometimes you just have to bring in a dude to remind everybody. So that's what I did. And I went in and I went line by line, and we had, you know, a 3-4 minute conversation about each individual topic. And there's 23 of them, so we might not get through all of these things, but we'll at least touch them all. And then, this is funny enough, it's September 19th, 2012. That's why I have this. We just come back from a rotation, and I wrote down basically 10 bullet points on each of these. How to be a better team guy, how to be a better husband, how to be a better father, and I wasn't a father at the time. So it was everything, I guess, in hindsight, that I wish I had growing up, or just what I hope to aspire to be, and I wrote everything down. And it's funny because it was on an old iPad from like 2010. It didn't even have Bluetooth, so I can't even sync it to a new device. It's all fucked up. But I literally took a picture with my phone, but I still got the date timestamp on it, so it's cool. So we're down memory lane. We'll kind of start knocking them all out. I think everybody will kind of get a chuckle out of some of them, but for a lot of the dudes, it's going to be echoing a lot of stuff you guys do. I think people who, you know, birds of a feather flock together. So I think a lot of the guys that really like beating the war drum that me and Cole do, it's because you're just like us at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what your background is. I mean, we have fucking accountants that are the exact same mindset that we have. So it starts out, I got that from one of the guys that I was fortunate enough to grow up under when I got to the command. He was a recce team leader, and he was a bad motherfucker, dude. He was awesome. And I'm not going to get into everything that dude did, but he did a shit ton. And he basically gave a pep talk one day about be a pro. And that's what he said. He's like, at the end of the day, be a fucking pro. At 2:30 in the morning, I come banging on your door. You better spring out of bed, a pro. It doesn't matter. Like, be a pro. I need to be a pro right now. I need for you to lock it on and be exactly what everybody expects you to be. And when he said it kind of clicked. He's like, I need for you to look exactly like what everybody thinks. When you walk into a room and present yourself, I need for everyone to go, that's exactly what I thought that dude would be. When they see you on the flat range, I need for you to perform exactly the way they expect you to perform. Not some half-assed attempt. Not some, my gear's sloppy and loose and my mags are falling out and I look like some bag of shit. Like, I need for you to be the dude, but I need for you to be an absolute savage at the same time. I need for you to never see it in black and white. Everything is gray. We must find a way, because everything is gray. I need for you to be a pro, work the problem continuously, exhaust all options until you say it can't be done, but I can do this, right? Be a pro in everything you do. So I went through it in my little introduction. I give them a background on myself kind of the whole way through, where I'm from. I was like, I joined the Navy at 17 years old, and I was a fucking punk, man. I didn't know any better. That's all I did. I was kind of raised by wolves, so I talked like that. And a lot of it came off not as an arrogance, but almost as a little bit of entitlement, because I grew up in the teams. And so I felt like I was already there, and I wasn't. And I got the shit beat out of me, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. So you got to earn your seat at the table. You're not given shit at birth. So I said I didn't have a lot of good role models growing up. I had I had some exceptional people that I could model myself after and we could emulate. But a lot of them in that time frame, they didn't know how to knowledge transfer. They didn't share information worth a shit, and you had to literally just study them. You had to study human moves and watch what they did, their whole process, because if you asked them, a lot of the dudes didn't know. Like, why do you mount your vertical grip on your gun? Why are you holding it like this and not vertical like everybody else? Why is yours farther out? And why are all those guys right back by the magazine well? Like, I don't understand. And they don't know. They're like, well, it feels more comfortable. And they leave it at that. It feels more comfortable. Okay. Well, then years later, you meet a same dude, just like that guy, but you ask him the same question. Why do you put your vertical forward? Why are you still running that? Nobody holds it like this. Why are you using a C-clamp grip? And he talks about the process, and he talks about, because it makes my support grip similar to my pistol. And that way everything feels the same. It feels more natural for me. So for my process, it gives me more confidence in this because I feel more connected to it. When that guy said that shit, I went, that's the same thing I've been looking for. I need to emulate that dude, his speech, his thought, the spoken word, the ocular cues, everything that comes out of this dude's body. I'm just absorbing it because it's exactly what I needed to finally hear. It's like, holy shit. I didn't have that for a long time, dude. We made it up. We literally we made it all up. We didn't know any better. We just trial and error, man, and getting super lucky. And fortunately, we're all still here. But a lot of that shit was just, you were pioneers. Like, I hate to say that, but there was no guide. There was nobody to really show you how because the war was so new and technology was advancing it so fucking fast, and so was the enemy, that you didn't have time to come back and really information share. It was kind of in your own little team. And I don't think that's really the best method anymore. Now, I go on to say that I'm not here because I know more than you. I'm here because I give a shit. And I think that is one thing, that is probably the best compliment I have ever gotten, is a guy I used to work for a couple years ago told me that I give a shit more than anybody he's ever worked with. And that's probably the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me, because I do. I genuinely give a fuck. And I pride myself on it. Like, I care. I'm going to go the whole way, and I'm going to go at this thing at nauseam until you understand it as well as I do, or better than I do, hopefully, because I do give a shit, because I know what's on the other end of it, and I know that it all matters. So kind of the knowledge transfer, like that's really kind of my process now, and that's really where I kind of dive into, because we do. If you know me and you work with me one time ever, you'll know I give a shit. Cole really, really cares, man. He does. So it's nice. Surround yourself with people like that, and you'll be better off for it. So not all of this is what I do now, but all of this is what I did then. Go through evolutions. So, number one, stay on topic. Act like a pro on and off duty hours. It's hard to do dumb shit when you're being a pro. Don't go admin in public. Do it at home where it is safe. That translates, stay on topic. I am thinking about work 24/7, 365. Anytime that I am not on topic, I am taking a break from the topic. If I'm going to go get my fingernails painted with my 9-year-old and she's going to put my hair in pigtails, I'm going admin, and I am not doing it in public. I'm not. I'll do that shit at home because I am representing the group at all times. I'm not going to be shit-faced at 2:30 in the morning, get thrown out of a bar wearing a GBRS t-shirt, because that does not benefit my group. That was being pro. I can go out and I can drink 2 beers and I can milk those fuckers all night long. I can be a social butterfly. I can dance. I can do whatever I want to, but I am not shit-faced. I can still operate a vehicle. I can shoot a firearm, even though I'm not going to be carrying one because that's illegal. But I can work through all this process. My senses are never going to be so numb to where I can't fight myself out of a situation. I can't drive myself out of a situation. Render first aid, talk to local law enforcement, diffuse the situation, the whole thing. I'm responsible 24/7, 365. I'm running around with little people, right? Like, I'm running PSD all day long, and so are you, whether you want to believe it or not. So I don't think you should go admin. If you want to go on a dude's trip and go to Vegas and burn that shit down in the Bellagio and stay inside the Bellagio, I say send it. I do not recommend getting behind the wheel of a car and fucking driving anywhere, because it will not end well. It won't. Going to a bar smashed, like, it never ends well, and that's always the story. Is there some kind of excess involved? And it's usually booze. So I tend to limit myself. I mean, I've been drunk in shit over a decade. So I'm still on that same kind of path. I just don't do it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I think it resets my physical clock too far to the left. And I feel like I undo the entire week's work if I burn it down on the weekend. So I'll drink 4 drinks, but I'll space them out over 8 hours. I drink a shit ton of water in between. I mean, that's just me. But that's me. That's staying on topic. I'm thinking about work. I'm thinking about my physical conditioning and how it affects the entire collective all the way through. And we'll talk about that, how it applies to the team, the SWAT team, the football team, everything else. Number 2, your circle of readiness. We got this from SEOC Tactical. Those guys have some of the best mindset development I've ever heard. They changed the course of my life and my team life and everything else. But the awareness, the preparedness, and the willingness. And then we go through what all that means. So my awareness, my situational awareness, how I process everything in the room, how far I am off of that wall, how far I am away from that door, how many people are in this room, and what are they potentially doing. We're running through it all day long. I'm just processing information, and that's what you do. My situational awareness is just spiraling, but it's not consuming. I'm allowing it to come in. I'm not being overcome by it. My preparedness is how much time I have dedicated to prepare for any one of those things that could turn into a dangerous situation. If Manny goes ham right now and comes at me, have I done everything over the last, long period of my life to prepare myself to deal with that? Do I have the tools on me to deal with it? Do I have something in proximity that I can deal with that? I got to be able to work that process all day. It doesn't matter if I'm at the mall. It doesn't matter if I'm at Ruby Tuesdays getting a salad at the fucking salad bar. It doesn't matter. I got to be able to run it all. And then my willingness is to actually do it. That is the one no one talks about. That is the great equalizer, because a lot of the times you can skip the first 2 if you're just super willing. Like, there are soccer moms out there right now that'll throw you through a fucking window, claw your eyes out all the way to the ground, and never flinch if you try to touch your kid. They are willing to go the whole way right now at a moment's notice, and I love it. But if you don't have those conversations, if you have never thought about it, if you have never thought about what it is going to be like to try to fight for your life actually, and how far you're really willing to go, there is a delay in getting to the tipping point where you have to go. So if we have that conversation, it's already escalated in my mind. I've already thought through the entire process. I've thought about the chemical reaction. I think about my breath. I think about all of it. I build it into my mind when I train. So when that thing happens, I've done that 300 times. We're good. I can process information super fast. Awareness, preparedness, and willingness. Go. Right? So that's really it. Knowing that readiness circle and just staying inside of it, staying on topic. If you're a SWAT team guy, you are a representative of that team, of your city, every fucking day. We stay on topic. Like, I'm not getting drunk. I'm not wearing my team hat getting shit-faced thrown out of a bar. Nope, not going to happen. Right? It's the same thing for football players. You guys see that shit all the time in the news. If you had them buy into the team more, I'll tell you who you don't see. You don't see normally people that have been on the same team for 20 years do that. Not notoriously. Because they understand it. I use Kobe Bryant. That dude lived that shit the whole time. I mean, yeah, man, when you put the team above everything else, it really kind of lines out everything, and then they become potential obstacles that you just avoid, because at the risk of losing your position in life, your position in the team, it's not worth it. Your family, your job, whatever it might be, it's not worth it, so I'm going to stay on topic. I'm a banker. I run a hedge fund, blah, blah, blah. I am on topic. I'm chipping away at that. And if I come off topic, it's a dial down and a full switch off, right? Number 3. It's time to teams. Number 3, nobody wakes up a pro. You have to train every day. You have to fight. You have to shoot. You have to stalk. You have to watch people. You have to navigate human terrain. So, exactly what it says. Like, when that was my profession, when that is what you do for the military, that is what you were expected to do. I'm expected to fight, shoot, stalk, train, do everything inside of that gambit at a super high level, because you never know when they're going to ask you to. And there is no warm-up. It's not like, hey, can I get 48 hours to go practice again? It's not like that for most people. There is no warm-up. There's just go. So we got to constantly do it without overdoing it. That's kind of where I trend now. Is there's a method to the madness, and you can do a ramp up to where you don't have to necessarily plateau. You can incremental build, but you're not going to cascade off the side. You're not going to burn out fast. Nobody wants that. We don't want you to burn out in 10 years. We want you to be that dude who's cranking this shit out into his 70s. Just adopt it into your lifestyle, and you can maintain it. Number 4, conduct yourself out in town as if you're being watched at all times, because you are. Exactly what it says. Yeah, man. Number 5, ask yourself if you're going to give today 100%. If you're not, stay in bed. Team doesn't need you. I don't need anything less than 100%. We got Tom Valentine's kids out there. He was a blue team guy that unfortunately passed away in a training accident in 2008. But he is famous for a saying that he used to use in a team. At what level are you willing to participate? And his reply was all in, all the time. Just that. All in, all the time.